Hello everyone, welcome to the Raw Take. I'm Rob Reed, and this is your review for the July 20th, 2021 edition of NXT. So, 24 hours ago, Kross, the NXT champion, just debuted on Monday Night Raw. And in his debut match, he lost in less than 2 minutes against Jeff Hardy. What do you do with that on NXT? Do you A, have Karrion Kross come out super pissed, grab an NXT wrestler and beat the ever-loving shit out of them? Or B, after he attacked Samoa Joe comes out and beats the shit out of Karrion Kross, pins him for the NXT championship, and ships him off to Raw. Or C, not mention it at all. If you picked C, you're a WWE writer. Because on tonight's NXT, they didn't even mention what happened last night on Monday Night Raw. Acted like it didn't even happen. So we are now led to believe that NXT and main roster WWE are completely in different timelines. The Marvel Universe, completely different timelines. They're split into timelines. Apparently, main roster is this timeline. NXT's over here. They don't intersect anymore. In 2019, when NXT was involved with Survivor Series, that didn't happen. Not anymore. They don't exist together. Nope. They don't exist together. They're separate entities. So, going by that, now's our review. So, this episode starts with reminding us what happened last week on NXT, where at the end finish of Karrion Kross's defense against Johnny Gargano, he attacked Samoa Joe, who was acting as referee. So, obviously, this week, Samoa Joe is super pissed and wants to kill Kross. So he comes out, and at the very start of the show, he wants a fight with Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross is not there yet. This brings out William Regal, who says, "You're overstepping your bounds. You were told you're not allowed to pick fights. You're an official now. You're not supposed to be picking fights with the wrestlers." And Samoa Joe reminds him that the rule is he will not get into fights unless provoked. And getting choked out is definitely being provoked. So he wants to fight Karrion Kross tonight. I'm fine with this. If that's what they're going to go with, we're going to act like Raw didn't happen last night. Okay. But the weirdest thing is, Joe mentioned that Karrion Kross was at Raw last week. He had a dark match. He was visiting Raw. So apparently Raw does exist, just not last night's Raw. Last week's Raw, yes. Last night's Raw, didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. Remember that. That didn't happen. Completely different timelines. So, going forward, he wants Kross tonight. Kross isn't there yet. He'll be there later tonight. Okay. So after that, we have a tag team match with Kashina and Bobby Fish. They take on Roderick Strong and Tyler Rust of the Diamond Mine. This is I like the match. Can't say anything wrong with the match except the finish, where Bobby Fish, where Bobby Fish pinned Tyler Rust in the Diamond Mine's first real match since becoming a faction. So immediately, they're worth nothing. They can't even win their first match. They want to make this group on par with Hit Row and Phantasma. They want to be on par with those two groups, yet they can't even win their first match. Okay. What gives us reason to care about them anymore? They lost the first match. I love NXT. At one time, it was my favorite brand of any wrestling. There's way too much stupid main roster stuff that happens on NXT now, and this is one of them. Having your debut people lose their debut for no reason, when you should be building them up as a new threat. This is Roderick Strong. This is his first. This is the breakaway from the Undisputed Era. So he gets his own group. First match out, loses to Bobby Fish. I like Bobby Fish, and I love Kashina. I see Kashina versus Roderick Strong being a fucking great match. That's going to be an awesome match. Don't get me wrong. Going to love that. I am assuming that Roderick Strong's probably going to win the Cruiserweight Championship. That's my guess. But shouldn't he kind of actually, win some matches? Shouldn't his team be, winning some matches? Making them look like a threat? But no, they lose their first match. Okay. Moving on. Next, we have Frankie Monet. She gets has basically a squash match against JC Jane. Not much here. They did a little bit more with Mandy Rose and the whole thing with Robert Stone. I'm guessing this is leading to a match with Frankie Monet and Mandy Rose. Frankie Monet should be on the main roster. She shouldn't have even had to go to NXT. She's proved she's TV ready plenty of times on Impact. She's a star. She should be right in the mix with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. She should be, when Becky Lynch comes back, that should be her, like, the feud is against Frankie Monet. But she's in a feud with Robert Stone brand and Mandy Rose. What's that? How's that good use of a great talent like that. It doesn't make sense. And the match was okay. She's awesome. Wins with a glam slam. But like there was nothing. It was just there. There was nothing really else. Now we get to. Looks like Austin Theory is on his way to the main roster. I know that he did have a dark match last week. He was one of the people, kind of, after Vince had his little trip to NXT last week, he was bringing people in for tryout matches for the main roster. And I know Austin Theory was one of them. But tonight, he looks like he left the way. He lost the way. He left the way. Before that, he had a match. Before that happened, he had a match with Kyle O'Reilly. Again, great match. There's a lot of that tonight. There's a good bit of that tonight. Good matches, good wrestling. Yeah, I'd say this was probably better than the main event, but probably not by much. I think this is probably the best match of the night. Kyle O'Reilly won with a knee bar, ankle lock. It was a good match. But after that, Johnny Gargano and Candice are still trying to find a way to get Indy away from I'll get it. Don't worry. I sometimes forget names. Sadly, I know his real name, Sam Shaw. But that whole thing, Dexter Lumis, trying to try to break them up again. And Austin Theory is trying to get their attention. They're not paying attention, so he finally he leaves, says he's done. So that's his send off, apparently. I've heard some not so great things about Austin Theory, like personal things. As a wrestler, I think he's a great wrestler. But it's do I really want to touch that? But see how he does on the main roster. Okay, now we have something. I will tell you, I like Legato de Fantasma. I love Hit Row. And they're setting up a big feud between the two, and I'm all for that. But I saw tweets earlier from Denise Salcedo, and she mentioned that Legado del Fantasma had a mariachi musical madness, and that's a little insensitive, maybe. Sounded kind of gross and stereotypical. But this basically just led to a big brawl with the Hit Row, which Hit Row got the better of. Swerve eventually hit Joaquin Wilde with a guitar. I'm all for Swerve versus Santos Escobar. I'm perfectly for that. I love both of their work. Both of those guys' work when they were in Lucha Underground, and I'm all for them having revisiting their matches. I'm all for that. But could you kind of tone down on this? It's the Mexicals. It's Lucha House Party all over again. This group should not have to deal with that. They're an awesome group on their own. Santos Escobar is a freaking great character, great wrestler. He doesn't need to be saddled with a stereotype gimmick. He doesn't need that. Let him just be a cool looking dude who can wrestle really good. That's all he needs. That's all he needs to be. I get it. Hit Row are supposed to be like a hip hop group. They're the best thing on WWE television right now. And all brands, maybe outside Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is probably the best thing right now on WWE television. But right underneath that is Hit Row. I've liked every bit of their presentation. Every bit of it. I love it. I want to see more of it. Isaiah Swerve Scott is one of the best wrestlers I've seen in a long time. Again, been a fan of his since Lucha Underground, since he was Killshot. And seeing him get this big push on NXT is awesome. And I loved Santos Escobar as King Cuerno. I loved him. So, them having matches and the rest of both teams having matches again, I'm all for it. But let's get away from some stupid stereotype mariachi bullshit, please. It's unneeded. You could have just two teams that don't like each other fighting each other. That's all you need. I don't think wrestling's all that difficult. Just have two people that don't like each other, have them fight each other. There you go. You got your feud. Yeah, you want a few other stakes involved, yes. Which, there's a North American Championship involved. So there's your stakes. That's what you should be focused on. Not a mariachi band. A mariachi band versus a rap group. That you don't need that. They can just, you have a group that's, their gimmick is a rap group, but they're just badasses. Because every one of those guys are badasses. They look awesome. And the guys in Legato de Fantasma are freaking awesome. Just have them fight. That's it. And you're good. We have the first match in the NXT Breakout Tournament. Odyssey Jones versus Andre Chase. Andre Chase used to be Harlem Bravado. I liked the Bravado brothers back in the day, and it's cool to see him getting a shot in NXT. Odyssey Jones is going to be big. He's going to be huge. He's awesome. I saw someone else mention it. It's kind of like he's kind of a more athletic Mark Henry. He's got the size of a Mark Henry, but he can do some athletic stuff too. I think he does kind of a black hole slam, rock bottom move as a finisher that looks pretty cool. He gets the win in the match. It was a good match, but he is by far going to be the star right now, unless somebody else comes along in the tournament. I think he's going to be the star coming out of the tournament. He just looked awesome in this match. I'll go ahead and say it. I am really liking Cameron Grimes. The way they're building this thing with where he has to be LA Knight's butler, instead of him trying to get out of it, instead he's like all in on it. He's all in being the butler. He's carrying bags, and he's doing it with a smile on his face. I like that. Cameron Grimes is a great babyface. I would have been surprised if you told me he'd be a great babyface, but he is. He's a fantastic babyface, and he plays off really well with LA Knight. I like the story going forward. LA Knight had a match with Drake Maverick. It's good to see Drake Maverick back after they fired his partner. But it's good to see him back. He had a match with Drake, with LA Knight. There was actually some miscommunication. LA Knight was trying to tell Cameron Grimes how to hold up the $1 Million Championship. And in the confusion, Drake Maverick drop kicked him, and he goes face first into the belt. And this led to a roll-up victory for Drake Maverick. But before he could leave, LA Knight starts beating up Drake Maverick, and then he tells Cameron Grimes he has to hit Drake Maverick. Well, I thought it was a great way to get some sympathy on Cameron Grimes, because he's being forced to do something he doesn't want to do, and he ends up hitting Drake Maverick, hating having to do it. I like that. This is probably my favorite feud right now on NXT. The payoff when Cameron Grimes finally beats LA Knight for the title is going to be great. I can't wait for the pop he gets when he wins the $1 Million Championship. That's going to be great. And finally, we have the main event is Xia Li taking on Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. This was really good, except there was a scary moment at the end. Xia Li starts out doing a lot of leg kicks, which I like. I like that they're doing that because she's much smaller, a lot shorter than Raquel, so she's going in with, like, trying to chop her down, and I like it. With a lot of people mentioning in MMA, leg kicks are being a lot more used, and a lot of people, and it's being used really effectively in MMA. And it's nice to see someone using that tactic against a bigger opponent. I like the way she was doing that. The whole thing was her Xylee's spin kick. Raquel saying, can she even get her leg up high enough to kick her? Well, instead, she chopped her down to kick her. But it's not enough. She's able to kick out. Eventually, Raquel, fights her way back. She hits her, twist senton, but this is a scary moment. The way she landed, all of Raquel's weight landed straight on Xylee's rib. And she was in obvious pain. Not cell pain, obvious pain. Doctors had to check on her. They said she could go, and then she had to get power bombed by Raquel on her already bad ribs. I think they could have just ended it right there after the senton. Just have her pin her, and just pin her right there. But they made her take her power bomb finish, and I think that was unneeded. I don't think an extra move was needed. The match was good, but I think they should have, I think they should have let it there. Had her, after she was obviously hurt, just had her pin her and finish it there, not make her continue and take a power bomb on hurt ribs. That had to suck. Overall, it was I wouldn't say bad episode of NXT. It was a decent episode of NXT. One last thing. Finally, for almost missed the big ending of the show. Finally, Samoa Joe can't wait any longer. He finally comes out to finally confront Kross. He tells Kross to come out. Well, Kross shows up on the screen, and he's actually beat up William Regal. Has left William Regal laying. Which is funny, saying he's the future of NXT. No, you're not. You're getting put up to the main roster and you lost your first match. You're not the future of nothing. You ain't future crap. Sure, you're probably going to beat up Jeff Hardy next week, but that still doesn't fix what happened. It still makes NXT look bad. But I do like the idea of finally have someone beat up William Regal. A heel beat up William Regal. And it's finally showing that, William Regal doesn't have the control he used to have. Things are out of control. Now people are even beating him up. Samoa Joe is going to want more revenge. I really am hoping this leads to Samoa Joe beating Karrion Kross, because I can't say I've been a fan of Kross at all. Now, if he was just main roster, I wouldn't really have an issue. I think the worst part was they took Scarlett away from him on his call up. That was the big thing for his character, and they took her away. So he basically looks like another generic big guy wrestler. But on NXT, we'll see where it goes going forward. That's obviously the big match that they're building towards. We'll see how that goes. Overall, this was a pretty okay NXT. It wasn't bad. Just kind of, really, besides the stuff with Kross and Joe, kind of unforgettable. Well, so until next time, click the like button, share, comment down below. Follow me on Twitter. I'll see you on the next video.